black in China was simply that at the time when I first went to China, people's experiences weren't being documented holistically. When I mean people's, I mean my people's, black people's, people of the African Diaspora from the West. There have been some studies done on black people in China so far as the Africans in Guangzhou and understanding them, their motivations, and how they live. However, when it came to us, it was almost like we were non-existent, i.e. us being black Westerners, i.e. people from the Caribbean, people from the United States, people from Britain, people from Canada. So I decided that I would use my skills in understanding how to make an ethnography, and first I was planning to just write one. And I remember people don't really like to read. So, got this fancy camera as a gift before I went to China to document my experience anyway. And I decided to use it to interview people. And I'm a sociologist by trade, so bam, there it is. So after gathering other people's experiences, going around to different cities, seeing how my friends live, seeing how their acquaintances live, I would say that it didn't change how I felt about China. I mean, I was based in Shenzhen. I got to go between Hong Kong and Guangzhou a lot. I mean, China is China. I mean, every city has its own culture. Every province has its own culture. They even have their own languages. Things are unique to what people are doing. But after hearing other people's experiences, I just thought, wow, this is so great that even though we're in various places like Harbin, Hangzhou, Nanjing, like we're spread all out, we're still having relatively the same experience. I compare being in the different places in China almost like being an HBCU alum. When I meet different people from different HBCUs, we seem to have relatively the same stories. We just change the names of buildings and the names of professors, but we're all telling the same stories. We have the same shared experience, and our minute differences are only apparent to us. But then we compare our experience to people who went to a PWI, the experience is the same. And I think it's the same as being a black person in China. No matter what city you're in, you're still relatively going to catch the same experience if, say, you're in an urban area versus rural. Like, sorry, they don't change. So what can I, like, this question is stupid to me because it's like the person who has it still in China. I'm like, you know they don't change. Like, it's a very individualistic thing. Like, people change the individuals, but holistically, they still like, there's still too many motherfuckers who are never gonna
just bleeped you out.
Okay, there's still too many motherfuckers in China. Like, so even if, like, 5 people meet you, or 100 people meet you, that's 100 people out of 1 billion. That's 100 people that now can say, oh yes, there are black people who are not from Africa. Oh, there are different kinds of black people. Man, they're not worried about their homogenous society. They only see differences between you're the Chinese, you're not. And then now because of the crimes that get blamed on Africans in Guangzhou, they're like, oh, black is bad, or the fairy tales that they have, like black is not necessarily good. But again, like, more of us coming helps, but then again, we're still only going to reach a very small percentage of their population. So
but isn't it better to reach a small percent than no percent?
Yes, but it's like, to ask this question, is their mentalities changing? That's really what you say sentiments. Is their mentalities changing? It's like, I don't know. I mean, they still fall into that whole world aesthetic quality. If you're black, you're inherently poor because you work outside. If, like, people, some of them don't even realize that pigment is a thing. If you're black, right, then, you know, there's this idea of like the black devil, and that comes more like if you're not all the way Chinese. And they used to call like the mixed babies just devils in general. But then there's like the black devil if you're mixed with black and Chinese, right? But that's only a southern China thing. And they're only going off of what they hear or see on TV or what they've been told. Remember, it's a place where people are told information. They don't have access like we do to just research things. Even when they research, it's still a box which their mind works in. So it's not the same. I learned from this series, I learned that, you know, the experiences of the many are more similar than they are different. I learned by traveling through China that the Chinese I was learning was not very regionally based. Very difficult to communicate with people in other provinces. I learned Guangzhou, Mandarin-ish, whatever they were speaking. I don't know. I learned a lot about filmmaking. This is my first series that I've ever done. The best series that I've done so far.
One hour.
It's my only one. I don't know. I learned how difficult it is to actually get people to interview them. Challenges would be doing this. Coordinating schedules. That was the hardest thing. You know, China's not like the US where it's like you have to get like permits to really do much, right? So it's more about just showing up to a location. And it was funny because wherever I showed up to film, I would always generate an audience. People would stop and stare. But I think again, it's just, you see one black person, right? It's like, oh, look, a unicorn. Then you get another black person. You got then one who knows how to use a camera, right? So now it's like, oh, mind exploded. I have to know what they're doing. They must be doing something worth my time to pay attention to. And then, you know, even if they don't speak English, it's still like, enjoy the show. Look, we got two, you know, herons or two lawais, two wairens sitting right there. Just, oh, you know, what they must be doing something. But yeah, coordinating schedules is the biggest challenge. You know, locations were easy to find relatively. You know, most people were willing, but I guess some people were afraid to be interviewed because they were afraid of the wrath of the Chinese government. I mean, I told them it was going to be a YouTube series. YouTube isn't readily accessible. There was one time,
No, they want to come in on the second round.
Nicole, well, she goes by Nicole to other black people. Her name's Marie Claude. We're filming this guy. He was smitten with her. He just kept trying to give her like water, and then iced tea, and then soda. And he would like come up, you just like put it down on the ground. And he just kind of stand there and just stared. I don't know, maybe he had a black woman fetish. I don't know what the deal was, but he really wanted her to have his tea, water, and he just left it there. And then later we found out he was trying to like bribe us for pictures, so he thought he brought us the drinks because it was a warm day, as most days are in Shenzhen. And then we would like feel comfortable enough to take a picture with him. But the thing is, he saw what we were doing, so I guess he was just waiting, biding his time. And then I think maybe he ran out of time, so then he like just interrupted us and said like the word for picture. That was the only word I recognized. And I was like, yo, go away. And then him and his friend walked off. They left the tea and stuff there.